I'm sorry for taking it, but I've always been the chosen one. You're just the supporting role, aren't you? Marrying such a beautiful woman makes me a winner, too. At least we'll invite you to our wedding." The two of them smirked, barely holding back their laughter as they belittled me. Why am I the one being treated like this? I haven't done anything wrong, but I can't just keep crying. I swear I'll make them regret this. I'm Olivia. I'm 25 years old and absolutely love food. Recently, I got engaged to Noah, my senior at work and boyfriend. And people keep saying how great my life seems to be going. Sure, having a steady job and saving money while also planning a wedding feels like a stroke of luck. But, Olivia, eating again. No wonder you're gaining so much weight. Look at other girls your age. What? But Noah, you always said you liked how much I enjoyed eating. Well, yay. But come on, a 25-year-old woman who doesn't care about her appearance. That's just sad. Since the engagement, his attitude has completely changed. Now, even eating a normal meal makes him criticize my body. Noah, who's 3 years older than me, had always felt approachable as a senior when I first started working. I loved how I could talk to him about all my favorite foods. But now, look at Amelia, your friend. She's like a doll, gorgeous, slim, and practically a model. Amelia. Well, Amelia is my childhood friend, the same age as me. She's always been known for her beauty, and I've never once seen her overeat or gain weight. Olivia, before you start talking about having a wedding, maybe you should try to slim down a bit like her. Noah, why do you keep telling me to lose weight lately? I've always been this size since we met, and you used to say you liked that I wasn't too skinny. It's not sudden. I'm just worried about a young, vibrant 25-year-old looking so chubby. You've got a great personality, sure, but you barely wear makeup, and your outfits are so random. Why can't you take care of yourself more, like Amelia does? Amelia. Amelia. You keep mentioning her name. Isn't that a little weird? Is there something going on? What? No way. What are you even talking about? You're acting crazy. This is ridiculous. I'm leaving. I only expressed a slight suspicion, but Noah suddenly got furious and stormed off, leaving our date midway. What? What just happened? Noah's been so emotionally unstable lately. Maybe it's cold feet about the wedding. At this point, Noah and I were officially engaged, and we'd even introduced each other to our parents. We hadn't gotten an engagement ring yet, but we'd planned to pick one out along with our wedding bands, and that was supposed to happen today. There were still so many things to discuss, like the wedding, our new home, and work. If he's already having cold feet, it doesn't bode well for the future. At least, that's what I naively thought back then. Hey, Olivia, isn't this wedding dress a bit much? Off-shoulder styles just don't suit you. Don't you think so, Amelia? Olivia should go for something simpler. She's trying way too hard. The ones laughing at the wedding catalog I'd received from the venue's partner dress shop were none other than my fiancé Noah and my childhood friend Amelia. While we were at my house discussing wedding plans, Amelia somehow barged in and started laughing at the materials for our wedding. But I mean, a wedding dress is something you only get to wear once in your life, so it's natural to want to go all out. I said this, but they both scoffed at the same time. Well, that's fine if it's someone like Amelia, who's practically model-level gorgeous. But Olivia, she's got a plain face, plus her body is. Noah, stop it. She's just dreaming, right? She probably thinks she'll magically look beautiful just because she's a bride. Seriously, that's not good. You've got to know what suits you. Honestly, it's embarrassing when people who haven't made any effort start dreaming big and then show up in some ridiculous dress. Oh, you're on that list too, Olivia. Better be careful. They were perfectly in sync. I was so stunned by their words that I froze. I had no intention of crying, but tears welled up in my eyes anyway. What are you tearing up? It's just a joke. Don't ruin the mood. A girl who can't take a joke is the worst, right? She takes everything so seriously. Olivia, being too serious isn't fun at all. She hasn't changed a bit. Olivia's always been like this. I've been telling her forever, know your place. Amelia has always hovered around me for some reason, saying things like, "You're not pretty, Olivia," or "Don't try to be like me." And I, for some reason, have always put up with it just because we've known each other since we were kids. But for Noah to not defend me and worse, join in laughing at me. In the end, Amelia stayed at my house all day, and we didn't get to talk about the wedding at all. Even after they left, I felt depressed and couldn't shake the frustration. Monday rolled around. I went to work with a firm resolution in my heart. Amelia sighed. Noah's recent behavior is unacceptable. Joke or not, I need to tell him to stop looking down on me. I was still unable to get over what happened the day Amelia barged in, ruining our discussion. On top of that, Noah had been constantly making snide remarks about my body lately. It was too much to ignore. I decided to confront him directly after work, maybe over dinner, and seriously talk about how I felt. But when I arrived at the office, there was a buzz of chatter. What's going on? Hey. As soon as I walked in, a senior colleague grabbed my sleeve and pulled me to the back of the office. You didn't hear? Everyone's freaking out because of this sudden news. What are you talking about? Wait, you really don't know anything. The senior, looking flustered, shared the shocking news with me. What? Noah quit, and he used a resignation service. I was so shocked I almost collapsed. I even thought it might be a dream. After all, I was about to marry him, and he hadn't told me anything. I didn't even know he was planning to quit. Since the company already knew about our upcoming wedding, my boss called me in and asked if I knew why Noel was resigning, but I could only hang my head and say I didn't know. That day at work was pure hell. His sudden disappearance caused chaos at the office as his tasks were divided among the employees. Adding to that, I had to deal with the shock of my fiancé quitting his job without telling me. On top of it all, I felt like everyone around me was watching me, making it impossible to focus. During my barely managed lunch break, I tried calling him, but he didn't answer. Even when I sent him messages, they remained unread. I somehow made it through the workday and returned home much later than usual. Oh, Noah. My phone screen lit up with a notification of a message from Noah. Relieved, I thought maybe today's events were just a misunderstanding. Somewhere in my heart, I still believed that what had happened today had been some kind of mistake, but that hope was shattered as soon as I read his message. Noah's message was short and brutal. I'm not marrying you, Olivia. I've quit my job, and I'm disappearing. Don't bother asking my parents. They don't know anything. Goodbye forever. I sank onto the silent room's floor, overwhelmed with despair. What does this even mean? Desperately, I tried to think of someone outside of work who knew both Noah and me. Naturally, I thought of consulting my parents, but maybe Amelia knows something. Amelia was the only person, apart from family or colleagues, who had a direct connection to both Noah and me. Hoping she might have some clue about Noah's sudden disappearance, I called her repeatedly, but no matter how many times I called, she never picked up. I even tried calling her parents' house, only to be curtly told that Amelia had instructed them not to discuss anything with me. I felt like the ground had disappeared beneath my feet. What had I done to deserve this? My fiancé and childhood friend, two of the closest people to me, had vanished from my life. I was so confused that I couldn't even cry. And for the next few months, I had no memory of how I managed to work or keep my life together. 2 years had passed since Noah disappeared, and Amelia cut me off. It felt like both a long time and a blink of an eye. Maybe I should take a break now. After everything that happened, I left the workplace where I had met Noah. I now work as a freelancer and have finally found stability in my life, but I still have goals and dreams I want to achieve. So I keep myself busy every day. Oh, there's a message. Wait. No way. During a break from work, I checked my phone and found a single unread message. When I saw the sender's name, I froze in shock. It was Amelia, the same Amelia who had disappeared 2 years ago. After rejecting me so completely, what could she possibly want now? Nervously, I opened the message. Instead of text, it was a video. Curiosity got the better of me, and I pressed play. The screen lit up with a smiling Amelia, and next to her was Noah. Hey, Olivia, surprised I disappeared on you. Bet it was a shock, huh? Maybe you've been sulking at home all this time. Come on, if she's been sulking, she's probably gained weight. Her figure must be in real trouble by now. Oh, but maybe what we're about to say will shock her into losing all that weight. I couldn't quite grasp the situation, and could only keep watching the video of Noah and Amelia huddled together, struggling to contain their laughter. In the video, the two of them suddenly said, "Ready, set, go," and started speaking at the same time. Actually, Noah and I are getting married. What? I forgot it was just a video and instinctively shouted. Of course, the two in the video paid no mind to my confusion and continued talking without a care. 2 years ago, Noah told me he wanted to date me seriously instead of Olivia, so we both switched jobs to work for a health food company. We're still happily working there together. Well, you wouldn't even recognize the company's name. You never cared about health anyway. I've known you for a long time, and taking Noah away from you was a really hard decision. I'm sure you'll be furious with jealousy. I just wanted to protect Amelia from Olivia. That's why, 2 years ago, I decided to cut ties with her. Amelia and I even moved out of state and changed jobs for each other. That's how deep our love is, you know. So, Olivia, don't hate me for being beautiful. I've always been the one chosen, ever since we were kids. My winning life was decided from the moment I was born, after all. And being able to love someone like Amelia makes me a winner too. Now that it's been 2 years, and you must have calmed down, we thought we'd invite her to our wedding. As my childhood friend, you get to see me in my gorgeous wedding dress. Isn't that exciting? Oh, but don't eat too much at the reception. Okay. Anyway, see you at the wedding. Make sure to enjoy it. After saying whatever they pleased, Noah and Amelia burst into laughter and stopped the recording. Just like 2 years ago, when Noah disappeared and Amelia cut off all contact with me, I was left stunned. I can't say I never imagined it, but I never thought they'd actually be sneaking around behind my back like this. And it wasn't even sneaky, it was blatantly cruel. Why, after 2 years, do I have to be humiliated all over again? I haven't done anything to them. Before I could cry, a searing anger welled up from the pit of my stomach. Why did I ever get involved with people like them? Amelia always looked down on me, only using me to make herself look better. And Noah, the moment I introduced him to her, must have been drawn to her looks and shifted his feelings right away. He broke off our engagement, which we had announced to our families and even our workplace, with a mocking laugh. Now Amelia plans to marry him and live happily ever after. It infuriates me that I ever wasted any concern on those shallow, thoughtless people. The message included a link to a website alongside the video. When I tapped on it, it was an elaborate wedding invitation. The photos from their pre-wedding shoot, adorned with gaudy animations, asked me if I would attend. Just looking at it made me feel nauseous. But then I stopped and thought, could this be my chance to turn the tables and reclaim my dignity? I managed to keep my composure despite my trembling fingers. As I clicked on the RSVP option and sent it to Amelia, who must have been filled with joy while preparing for her wedding. Such a beautiful day. Perfect for revenge. I mean, a wedding. I had dressed up meticulously for the occasion as a guest. All of it was for celebrating Noah and Amelia's wedding. When I solemnly signed the guest book, the receptionist noticed my name and guided me to the family room. Even though I insisted I wasn't family, they mentioned the bride and groom had specifically asked for Olivia to be escorted there. Why? Are they up to something suspicious? I peeked into the family room, only to find it crowded with far too many people for just relatives. Overhearing some conversations, I learned they had gathered their current bosses, co-workers, and even subordinates. As the room filled with people, music suddenly started playing, and Noah and Amelia made their grand entrance as the bride and groom. Thank you, everyone, for gathering here before the ceremony. Amelia and I wanted to introduce the important people in our lives as we take this step forward together and share a few words with each of you. Using a microphone in the large room, they spoke dreamily. It seemed they were completely absorbed in the attention from everyone who had come to witness their big day. During the introductions, they began by presenting their relatives and colleagues one by one, delivering personalized messages to each. This turned into an unbearably long and disjointed event. Guests grew tired from standing the whole time, and even Noah and Amelia seemed a bit out of breath by the end. After finally finishing the introductions with their youngest subordinates, they exchanged a peculiar smirk as though they had been eagerly awaiting this moment. Now, everyone, I'd like to introduce my dear childhood friend. It's thanks to her that I met Noah. Olivia. Wait, where is she? Olivia, late as usual. It's a shame that our Cupid isn't here with us. I was shocked to hear my name suddenly called, but even more so when neither of them recognized me at first glance. I've been here this whole time. When I raised my voice, Amelia smiled with satisfaction. Oh, good, Olivia. I was worried you might have burst out of your dress for today's event. She started her usual mockery, but her expression froze the moment our eyes met. What? Wait. Why are you here? Noah looked at me with surprise, sharing Amelia's confusion. It's been a while, you two. Thanks for inviting me today. I smiled, and Amelia, forcing her stiff lips into a scream, yelled out, Olivia. What? Why are you here? Calm down, Amelia. Olivia. Why is she here? Wait. The Olivia we invited. Both of them were utterly bewildered, and honestly, I understood how they felt. Even I couldn't have imagined such a transformation in myself. After Noah abruptly broke off our engagement and disappeared, I was so devastated that I temporarily lost my appetite. It wasn't just weight loss, it was an unhealthy deterioration in my strength and overall condition. Determined to change, I started eating healthy food little by little, eventually picking up strength training and yoga for both distraction and fitness. Gradually, my body began to transform, and to distract myself even more, I uploaded my progress to social media. Interacting with others who were also working on their fitness goals turned out to be really fun, and before I knew it, my follower count exploded. When people started asking me to create a channel to share fitness tips, I decided to give it a shot. The response was overwhelming, and my followers grew rapidly. I quickly became a popular influencer. Now I'm on magazine covers, and even appearing on TV, a small celebrity in my own right. I even started experimenting with makeup, something I had never paid attention to before, and my appearance changed significantly, though I'm still me at heart. You two didn't notice I've been here all along. Is it really you, Olivia, the famous influencer? Yes, I couldn't stay in touch with you, Amelia, so I didn't have a way to let you know. I smiled, and both Noah and Amelia turned pale, trembling with what seemed to be humiliation. How does something like this even happen? You were just a plain, forgettable sidekick. Olivia, you're so slim and gorgeous now. Admittedly, I was always tall. Once I started working out and doing yoga, I ended up with a look I think turned out pretty good. What do you mean by I glared at him, and Noah let out a pathetic whimper. I mean, maybe I should have chosen you, Olivia. Hey, Noah. Amelia's outburst was furious. She's always been the type who needs to be the center of attention. Having an influencer potentially outshine her on her big day was probably unbearable. Though she's the one who invited me. Amelia gripped the microphone tightly, like a fighter delivering a pre-match speech, and shouted, "Everyone, that so-called influencer Olivia used to be chubby. She was barely good enough to be my shadow. And pitifully, I even stole her fiancé." Before Amelia could finish, the room buzzed with uncomfortable murmurs. Even her parents stared at her in shock, realizing that her attempt to smear me had turned into an admission of her own horrible actions. Amelia quickly shut her mouth. That's right. My past was filled with moments where I was timid and looked down on by Amelia. And yes, after Noel and I got engaged, Amelia took him away. It was devastating at the time. "Stop it." When I picked up where Amelia left off, she yelled, her face bright red. But I raised my voice, refusing to back down. But I picked myself up and found my own path. I started working out, experimenting with makeup, and pushing myself forward. I still enjoy my favorite foods, too. Getting invited today surprised me. But I came here to face my worst memories and leave them behind once and for all. My speech was met with scattered applause from the guests, maybe emboldened by the shift in the room. Noah turned to me with a sheepish grin. "I'm sorry, Olivia. I must have been out of my mind. Betraying my fiancé was awful. Maybe I could make up for it by staying close to you." "Excuse me, don't be ridiculous. Just because I had a body that wasn't as toned as it is now doesn't mean you had the right to mock me, call me names, or judge me by appearances. Switching to my childhood friend just because of how I looked. There's no chance I'd ever want to talk to someone like you again." When I harshly rejected him, Noah muttered something under his breath and looked down. The one who grabbed him immediately was Amelia. "Are you kidding me? Noah, you married me, didn't you? Are you seriously trying to get back with that frumpy woman who used to be chubby?" "Well, I mean, Amelia, you're beautiful, but sometimes you're so intense it's terrifying. And Olivia, she's just unforgivable. This is cheating, betrayal. I'll sue you." Forgetting they were in front of all the guests, Noel and Amelia began a marital argument that no one else cared about. Honestly, they were a perfect match. I decided I wasn't going to waste any more of my precious time and quietly slipped out of the wedding venue, never to return. After a lengthy quarrel, Noah and Amelia apparently managed to complete both the ceremony and the reception. It seems they didn't have the courage to cancel a wedding that had cost tens of thousands of dollars just because they insulted each other. But the atmosphere was awful at both events. During the ring exchange and a cake cutting, Noel and Amelia glared at each other. The guests, having learned some shocking truths before the ceremony, were no longer in a celebratory mood, and no performance could lift their spirits. It was said to have felt like a funeral, or so I heard through the grapevine. After the wedding, Amelia was severely scolded by her parents. Apparently, 2 years ago, she lied about me doing something terrible to her and asked them not to pass on my messages, painting me in a bad light while stealing someone's fiancé. Her parents disowned her, calling her a disgraceful daughter. Hell awaited Noah as well. News of Amelia's scheming marriage spread throughout their workplace. Unable to endure the cold stares from their coworkers, Noel and Amelia once again used a resignation service to quit their jobs and flee. But they had just hosted an extravagant wedding. Even though the atmosphere was like a funeral, the expenses didn't change. With no savings and no jobs early in their marriage, Noel and Amelia argue daily. It seems even being in the same house has become a source of stress for them, and their job searches are not going well. Honestly, paying a resignation service before securing new employment, what were they thinking? Well, it's just like those two, to make choices that are overly self-indulgent, riding on the mood and momentum of the moment. That personality of theirs is probably why, despite just getting married, their divorce seems almost inevitable, a sad reality, to say the least. As for me, my connection to Noah and Amelia began when I was unceremoniously stuck in the family waiting room during their wedding. Surprisingly, that incident led to an offer from their former workplace, a health food company, to sign an exclusive contract as a model for their advertisements. It turned out to be the biggest job opportunity of my career. My recognition skyrocketed, and thankfully, I've been gaining a growing number of followers, regardless of gender. I decided to use my newfound visibility to launch a new initiative. It's a live-streamed advice series aimed at young people struggling with diet and body image issues. Having once suffered the humiliation of being mocked for my appearance by both a childhood friend and a fiancé, I can relate deeply to their struggles. That makes me the perfect person to guide these young individuals away from dangerous diet practices. In fact, this advice series has been well received, with many viewers sharing that it has helped them resist extreme dieting behaviors. I feel incredibly fulfilled knowing I'm using my platform as an influencer in such a positive way. Never would I have imagined, back when Noah and Amelia's laughter rendered me too timid to respond, that I'd someday be helping others lighten the burden of their serious worries. Had I not experienced the heartbreak of being replaced and losing Noah, I wouldn't be the person I am today, regardless of my body type or facial features. I've grown to love the version of myself that has overcome a painful past and now works to make a difference in others' lives. Even if I choose to share my life with someone in the future, I'll continue to stay true to myself and live sincerely, without compromising my personal style.